So it's called Dream a Little Dream. Esme. It's crowded. The last of the summer sun is glinting through the window, riotously warm, as if we were abroad. So everyone is a little bit skimpy in their clothing and a holiday atmosphere has settled over the place. The door is wide open and the beer garden is heaving. We sit across, animated. It's a good laugh and heady with the heat. There's a feeling of whimsy over the pub since the three musicians started asking people to join in. 6 pints down and just beyond tipsy, it's reaching peak fun. There was initial desire, of course there was. Passing and interested, nothing more. But tonight there is a shift. It's tangible. I can feel it, and the earth literally does move, which I didn't expect, and it's hard to ignore. It's an oh shit moment, and no mistake, when the room spins 360, because I absolutely cannot go there. There is slight terror. Danger territory has just been reached. The alarm bell that should be ringing has been replaced by the sound of drums, and all I can see is the mole in his neck, and all I can hear is my breathing over his voice. My eyes wander errantly to his midriff. Oh shit again, I swallow, burying the thought deep. I really should go. He should go too. We see that very clearly, but we don't go. There is one, maybe 2 drinks more, and that is when we leave. It's hard to leave, but my feet do move and then my head moves. My heart thumping wildly is a little slower. We stand on the side of the road, and as we part for the night, I want to call him back with every fibre of my being, but I am entirely frozen. This is a fixed point in time I will not forget. I promise myself right now that I will try, but I will replay it over and over again, and know that even now. His situation is less than ideal, but there will be another time if this is a thing. This is a thing. It's definitely a thing. It could be a thing. In that moment, I've hardly felt more trapped than I do right then. And he's gone. The bus is 2 stops away, or so the app says, and I send 2 messages. The reply comes quick. This feels like a thing. The other reply does not come at all. I'm still looking at my phone as the bus arrives, but it's not the bus. It's a taxi, and I'm not getting in it. I'm going over it. It's thrown me halfway up the road, careered to a halt, and I'm definitely no longer at the bus stop. I've not seen him in months, which makes the event even stranger. It's 2 a.m. He's phoning me from what sounds like an airport. Apparently he's in Russia. He's had a terrifying day after losing his passport and being accused of plagiarism. It hardly sounds terrifying, but nevertheless, I'm the one he wants to phone. We've still never touched. Been close, but never touched. Firmly in the friend zone, but still, I dream and I wonder, does he think of me too? Probably not. Not in that way anyway, but he is tonight. And for some reason, I want to check if he's eaten. He's had a marmalade sandwich. A what? Russia must be like Japan or China with the strange sandwiches at the airports. Have you ever eaten a strawberry sandwich? I have. Better than no food, I suppose, but unless you're Paddington Bear, that's no meal at all. We talk for a while, but I'm really sleepy and I need to put my shoes on, so I go to do that, slightly confused by that thought. When I awake and look at my phone, the top story on the news is all about a crash on the Trans-Siberian Railway. But I've just spoken to him, and so I know he's okay. I flash forward. Another evening later that summer. It's one of those summer evenings that never seems to end. Everyone is on the cusp of being drunk again, and we're all getting more elaborate. It's still warm. The setting sun is casting long rays of bright light through shadows and shadows in places. It's like being inside a kaleidoscope. Magic. And if we don't feel like we're 20 again, we should. It's that kind of night. Paul is off for a fag somewhere, and the 4 of us are sitting at a picnic bench debating if we want a cocktail bucket for the road or a rum and coke. I don't really want to go home. I can't think why. I can think why. He returns and gestures to the bar. Off we go. 2 buckets, a rum, a whiskey, and I don't know what he's having. He lightly nudges me with his shoulder. You want to come over? Obviously. He's all super cool. Yeah, sure. So am I. Tricky in the company we're keeping, but something can be worked out, as long as it's not awkward, eh? We return to the table and chat resumes. The whole time I'm thinking about how to make an escape. I've no idea what we're talking about now. Getting a taxi is a pain, and when we do, Daniel wants to come too, the third wheel. So here he is, and there we are, and he is so much more drunk than the rest of us. It's a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Our arrangement has always been this, casual, no pressure, and so here we are. Another drink, anyone? I'm at the counter. Am I pouring wine? Where I'm standing looks over into the next room, where predictably Daniel is now passed out on the too small sofa, his right leg over the arm and his left leg jutting out ragdoll-esque. Paul is beside me and he's stroking some fluff from the nape of my neck. There's a familiarity to this, and the warmth courses through my veins like sambuca. Suddenly there's a wall with a pane of frosted glass in the middle. Now I can't see the room. It's a different kitchen entirely, and I'm against this wall. Whose kitchen is this? The kissing is almost frenzied. It's been such a while and we're ravenous. Tortured almost. If it was that serious, which it isn't, in the end, Daniel goes home, we bundle him into a cab and bundle ourselves into bed, where it all begins again, always like the first time, sensual and slow. As we lie in the bed afterwards, I feel so content and wish we'd just come here from the start. Sleep comes in drifts and waves and I'm all warm and soft. I'll stay a while. When I awaken, I don't recognise the curtains. The room is gloomy and pale. I can hardly think. And that's when I realise that I'm in my own bedroom. I seriously begin to wonder, did any of this happen at all? I'm tired. Why do I feel so heavy, like my legs can't move? How can you be together yet apart? I feel so alone. Why is it so cold? My mind swirls. Whose voice is that I can hear? Not yours. His? When will I feel warm again? Is there a good time to talk? Where am I? It's cold. We sit by the sea on a cold winter's day. Your hat is the colour of raspberries. It's bold and I like it. You sit with your hands hunched into pockets. It's not all that warm. That's the third time this week that I've been hurt and I'm sitting here beside you, hiding my bruised wrist under a big cable knit cardigan the colour of mustard. It's bold and I like it. I feel trapped under the weight of the situation I'm in. Why can't I break free? What is stopping me? The children? My legs are like lead again. We have a nice time. Seeing things, not saying things. The truth hiding in the silence. Our light is dying though, waning to an end. I can feel a shift in the sand underneath us, quite literally, like the night that never was, the one where the room moved. I'm drawn back to it. Most thoughts end in frustration. If only I could clear this fog between us, only I can do it, yet I cannot. Then this would be different. It wouldn't be cold, there would be no grey, only soul-warming light, sunshine filtering through plate glass. I open my eyes and you're gone, of course. And I realise I must have dozed off after you left me on the bench. My legs have gone numb in the cold. I see them clearly. I see them clearly. He's on the street and he's bumped into Daniel. They are talking. He raises his hand to his mouth and puts his hand to his head. Bad news. How can I see this but not be there? Daniel walks away. He's wearing strange purple and yellow clown shoes. How bloody weird is that? And he's holding a ukulele. He hates the ukulele. Paul stands still leaning against the fence where the quiz night flyers go for a long time. Paul hears from Dan that she's been in hospital. A completely chance encounter with him when he bumped into him on the street. That explains a lot. It's been a busy summer, true, but the silence from her was getting a little odd. He'd actually messaged her twice. Slightly unusual for him to make the first move in any arrangement, and the lack of response is now explained. He's been stock still in this spot by the fence where the quiz posters go for 5 minutes now, his legs leaden. Twice recently he'd looked at her and had felt a spark of something deeper, but the timing was just never quite spot on. Like that night in the pub, something for sure, but just not momentarily possible. And that was the last he'd seen her for weeks and weeks now. He wished he'd written a better reply to that message. Always thinking of exactly what to say just when the moment has passed. Would it have made a difference? He wonders what happened exactly. All Dan knew was an accident, a coma, not waking up. He's no longer on the street but lying atop his bed. How did he get home? He realises he can't remember where he's actually been. Something about a trip to Russia. Was he in Russia? Marmalade. He's never eaten this stuff. Not likely to either. What is happening? He feels heavy, like he's stuck here forever. Is this happening? What is happening? He's in shock. He must be in shock. Suddenly there is a hand in his hand. He can't see the owner. It's just a hand. It squeezes. A thumb slowly strokes. Release. And then he's not sure which, but one of them lets go. He sits up and fully knows he needs to go and see her. Esme. On the last day it is decided I'm not going to make it. and so inevitably they decide to switch off the support to my life. There is anger in the room. Something is causing a disagreement, but this is not my problem. Not anymore. If only they knew I can really feel this hand in mine. It's the first time I've been really aware since I got here, I think. But it's too late. This is no longer my circus, and these are no longer my monkeys. I always liked them. She squeezes once for real, this time too late, and then no more. Paul. As he leaves the hospital, he feels completely empty. Whatever it was between them was unspoken, and yet he is shaken to the core by what he's felt in there. Time has slipped away from him with an unyielding brutality, and there is nothing to repair it now. No phone call, no turning round in the street to change her mind, no text, nothing. It's done. The moment is not only past, but literally dead. They were confused by his presence, he knows that, so was he. There was a serious awkwardness in the room. Anger even? He might as well have been naked the way everyone stared, but he needed to be there. If there was one thing he was sure of, that was it. He'd have regretted it for the rest of his life. He was sure once or twice that she was being hurt, and he can see clear as day right now that she was. He is certain that if he'd taken more care, she would be here now, because he'd never have let her leave that street corner alone. He wanted to kiss her. He should have kissed her. He knows this will haunt him forever. And as he squeezed her hand in the hospital, he was sure she'd known he was there. He tried to say, but no one wanted to hear him. And he hoped, through tears, though months too late, that finally, in the last moments, he'd gotten his point across.